I wanted to first start by wishing us all, it comes us all, Magia Lanu, all of us, a Mazel Tov, that in the Beis Medrash there's a kollel that sits and learns here. First Seder, second Seder, Beis Hashem B'nait Seder, that comes to us all a Mazel Tov. The chiyus that a group of younger light, a group of B'nai Torah sitting and learning, the chiyus that brings to any city that's Zeicha, to have Loimdei Torah. My wife and I, we went out of town to a certain city about over 20 years ago, close to 25 years. We went out and it was a city that was mamish. There was very little chiyus. You could tell in Yiddishkeit, vibrancy and passion. There was very little chiyus. We went back over 20 years later. We went back to the same city, and the chiyus in the city was lo human. I can't prove it. There was a couple of kolim started. I suspect it came from those kolim. I can't prove it. I'm not a bucky in those city, but a group of younger light learning Torah, sincere younger light. I could tell you in the yeshiva bayas 2 years ago, I got a call, Erev Bisman, from 12 Bachram. We want to come. They were 25 years. They're learning in BMG. We want to come learn in the yeshiva for the year. So I thought it would be good. It was lo yu'uman what it did to yeshiva. And I'm not talking about, they weren't bedavka. They were very busy. They were all involved, busy with the Parsha, Masechtas Kedushin and Yanig. They were busy. So it wasn't even bedavka that they were so close. They were respectful. Lishmak with the chevra. But they sat and learned. Jevezi could be made. It was a big zach in yeshiva. It was such an aliyah. Baruch Hashem. Hashem was mezaka. The chevra got married. Many of the chevra got married. But I wanted badly. I wanted to figure out a way to bring more b'nai Torah, more younger light, more people sitting and learning. The chiyus, the aliyah that comes from the loimet Torah, the person learning Torah, given to learning Torah, is lo yu'uman. I've watched my father sit and learn Torah his whole life, ba'asmada, to sit and learn. I've seen the impact of a learner of Torah to people around him. I've seen the impact to people around him, to people who are friends, different working people who were hanging around and being around my father, and the impact of a learner of Torah, of somebody who's dedicated with sincerity, seriously and passionately learning Torah. The impact is lo yu'uman. It's interesting that all the avos traveled a lot, and specifically where the Torah says Yitzia Sadik Minayir Asa Reishim, it says it by Yaakov Avinu. It's interesting. All the avos left cities, came and left. Specifically, where it speaks about the Reishim of the Tzaddik, is Yaakov Ishtam Yoshev Olam, is the sitting and learning, is the most where it says Yitzia Sadik Minayir Asa Reishim. A person who sat and learned with sincerity, with just an authentic learner of Torah is a tremendous impact. So the first I wanted to say, just the schus of our community, the schus of our kilo, that we have a kolom that specifically in this space, mesh a schus for the entire city of whatever. There's another group of Loimdei Torah, the Akar Satayv to Rav Yaakov Metz, and all those that were misader, that organized and arranged. It's a tremendous schus for a city. And then to meet, it's not just any kol, then you meet the specific younger light. Some are here just sincere, good B'nai Torah, learners of Torah, livers of Torah, tremendous chus for our city, that I want to express that and express the thank you to them and a mazel tov to us for such a chus. I felt it's kedai to mention at all, our city was started, you never ignore where you come from. A person, Akar Satayv, and the yeshiva of Chaim Berlin was very involved. From Ray Kaufman, who came here, who brought the first families to the community, to the supporters of the yeshiva and the community, to our community, where the Rabinowitz Mishpacha built this community. Rav Yitzchak built He physically built it. He put a lot of money to build. And Yitzchak's thoughts were idealistic. I was there when he built this. He wanted a place to raise his children. This is like such a pure place that it was built. The houses were pashut built with sincerity. The very houses, literally, kipshutai, were built. We joked about it when we learned together as youngsters, that we want to live all from Yidden, and both sides should be from Yidden. Everybody around us should be from. And then Yitzchak, we joked about it, and he actually did it. And he built a place. Lemaisa, the Rabinowitz Mishpacha comes from Chaim Berlin. And in the Chaim Berlin community, there was the P'tira, the Rosh Hashiva. And for a city that has connections, many of the first 5 of the first 9 young light in the city, 25 years ago, were from Chaim Berlin, 5 out of 9. We're from Chaim Berlin. We have connections to that yeshiva. The Rosh Hashiva, Rav Aaron Shlita, cared about this community. I won't forget when he came to this city. And he said over and over, Baruch Shem Kavod Machzai L'Olam, that he spoke for like an hour and a half. He was L'mala Min Azman. And he spoke over and over about the pasuk, Baruch Shem. When you see an expansion of Yiddishkeit, he would have said Baruch Shem on this koilel. And he was like nishtaimim from the city. He couldn't believe it. And you could see visibly a gadol who was excited and fired up about expansion. So Yiddish, a new Yiddish, a city, people sincere. It's taka, a city worthy of getting excited about. A lot of sincere, good Yidden, beautiful Yidden. And he was excited. He spoke for an hour and a half. He kept saying Baruch Shem, and then he said, beautiful Torah. Reb Chaim, you remember when he came and spoke, Reb Chaim? Reb Aaron Schechter, many, many years ago, came before your time. Baruch Shem, he was fired up by the expansion of Kiddush Shamayim, of another city, a bastion, a fortress of respect for Yidden. It's specifically a beautiful city. Yidden are respected here. Yidden are appreciated. And he was very, very excited and spoke. So I thought it's kedai to mention that there's a yeshiva that we have a shaykhs to, and went through a patir of the Rosh Hashiva, Rav Aaron Schechter's son-in-law. I'm not worthy of being maspid, of eulogizing him. I'm not capable. I met him once in my life. I met him for a while. I was zeicha to a 2-hour meeting with the Rosh Hashiva of Aaron Schechter. I met him for 2 hours, and the son-in-law was there the whole time. He had a tremendous trust to his son-in-law. He was on the phone. He was on the phone at the meeting, and he kept saying chazer over the last 15 minutes. And his son-in-law would say over the end of the meeting, he said chazer over the whole meeting. And his son-in-law spoke, Reb Shalom Halav, and he spoke. So I saw the trust and the faith this gadol had in his son-in-law. He was asking him questions, and he trusted him tremendously. And I felt like to mention in our Chabura, to mention the P'tira, to speak clearly. I'm reading about this Talmud Chacham. Reb Shulman probably could speak about it much more than I. Did you, Reb Shulman, did you know him personally? A little bit. So I wasn't zeicha to know him. What I'm reading about is remarkable. I love that he brought together worlds. Anybody with einayim sees that kibbutz galius that were coming together. Everybody's learning Chassidish, Sfarim, Littish, Svard. It's all one. Klal Yisrael, it's pashut that kibbutz galius is to take down walls. We learn each other's Torah. It's pashut. And it's beautiful that beautiful yeshiva, the yeshiva took a son-in-law who's from Morocco. This tzaddik, this Talmud Chacham was very into the world of Chassidus, was connected, mekusher to big rebbes. Combined, it was learned in Brisk, had a bag, just combined worlds. It's pashut, that's like an Indian of kibbutz galius. With Klal Yisrael, we're learning Torah. It's all one ummah, one nation, one people. There's not allowed to be them. Befrat, we're seeing what's going on, the nisyonis in the world. We're at a time we're questioning who our friends are. How many friends do we really have? Today, that went on in Amsterdam, scary times for Klal Yisrael. And it's a time when we have each other and we unite. It's pashut that the hanhagas to unite in a strong way. So to see a Rosh Hashiva, a big person who was beloved, and they say it was a big loss, but I want to specifically speak this inyan of the different worlds that came together there. The different worlds that were brought together is something very, very beautiful. Reb Yosef and I had a Rebbe who didn't necessarily connect to the world of Hasidus. My Rebbe didn't necessarily. It was clear to me, and he knew. Somebody asked, "Did you speak to you?" He knew I liked the world of Hasidus and the Torah, and it wasn't a shail by me. It's Pashut. He would say, "Serve Hashem," and if that's what brings you to service of Hashem, so you study Torah, that brings you closer to Hashem. There's not a shail. There's nothing to ask. But it's just what's going on. It's Pashut. We're seeing Kibbutz Galus. We're seeing Yidden unite more. Torah, Yidden learning each other's, learning the Torah that's our Torah, that belongs to us. To me, you speak anyway now. It's much. Our communities are less divided. I've spoken by Svardim. I say us Svardim. Speak by Chabad, us Chabad, Satmar, us Satmar. It's us. It's all us. It's Pashut. It's Pashut like that. It's all us. It's just us. I sat 4 in the morning. I was in the hospital this week, and I was feeling sad. I was feeling sad. I was looking, my tata sick. I was very sad. So I went to they had a Bikur Chaylim room there, and I sat in the Bikur Chaylim room. And I wasn't hungry. It's 4 in the morning. So I'm yeshiva guy, it's geschmack to eat. I ate blintzes in the could have done fleshig. The blintzes, they ate blintzes 4 in the morning. I just wanted to feel the love from Am Yisrael. I felt like Yidden, Satmar, Bikur Chaylim, they put food there. I needed to feel, I felt warmth. I sat there alone in the Bikur Chaylim 4 in the morning eating blintzes. They made they had fresh blintzes, such a nice zach. I felt a hug and a kiss because we're part of a beautiful people that's united. The Yid yearly, it's interesting, the Yid yearly, in a very interesting zach, he comes to my house every year, one of the main Yid who collects for Sat B'Yichem, and he comes yearly to Durham. Always strikes, the Chevra, Shlem Yusin, he comes with the sign around, such a beautiful Yid. He always comes to Durham, you can make $75, maybe $83. He's collecting from the Chevra, they're not the biggest Ashirim. He always is Masber, the Rebbe wanted everybody to know about Bikur Chaylim. You could say maybe it's a good plan, every guy there, one day we'll have a business. It's just they like it and they push it like it. He tells us about the Bikur Chaylim. He always tells us, he always describes it, and it's so much more than feeding a Yid, which is already a beautiful zach. But the Ava, I sat there eating his blintzes. I mamish was just feeling a hug. When he comes to me, I'm going to give him an Revezi bear hug. Am I going to push it? I'm going to say the Eidos now, that you're sitting there and going through difficulty, and people care. Nifla. But not like, they don't do things, it's not like borscht and samatza. Fresh, loaded, the pantry, as if they're expecting. They could have fed all of us and much, much more. And fresh, and I heard every day it's like that. Every day they bring, they take care, they change. They're mamish on it in a nifladik way. There's somebody from Yeshiva, remember Shlomo Sarway? Him and his mishpacha, very involved. I can't figure out if it's Satmar, other Bikur Chaylim. It's all Yidden, that there's just us. There's 2 Bikur Chaylims. I don't have it down exact. Shlomo Sarway is involved with it. Oh, whatever guy is involved with the Bikur Chaylim. The bottom line is we're an amazing, precious people. And I wanted to mention the Aveda, tremendous Aveda of an Adam Gadol, but specifically mentioning this Nekuda that's striking to me, that different worlds are brought together there. And the breaking down the walls, it's all us. There's no them in Klal Yisrael. I was at a Pesach hotel, and a guy said to me, "You rabbis, you Rashi Yeshiva." He said like 3. The first time I took it, I swallowed it, you Rashi Yeshiva. Second time, the third time he said it, I couldn't handle anymore. I said, "Sit down, I need to talk to you, Rabbi." He was an old, beautiful Yid. He said, "You Rashi Yeshiva." I sat down, this old Yid. He was a beautiful person, he knew Torah. I said, "Do you want to be nift? You're not a young, you should live mamish langa yarn. Do you want to be nifter, a sad man?" He said, "If you want to impact Am Yisrael, you're an intelligent guy, you're a beautiful person. Stop with you." I said, "I'm Dan Kalish, I'm a shortstop. We can go to a Nick game together if you want. Stop you guys, there's no you. It's only us, buddy. There's no yous. You'll die a frustrated man if it's those. There's no them. There's no them, there's no such thing. It's a silly nonsense. Whenever we make a them, we love making a them. There's no them in Klal Yisrael. Them, mechanchim are just us. The workers are just us. Everything is just us. There's no them, it's a fake. There was a Polish philosopher, Emil Pallier, his name was. He said, if there's no Jew, people invent a Jew. People love making of them. We once had a Blue Ridge meeting, probably the angriest I got at anybody in the Killa. A guy at a Blue Ridge meeting, he said the renters. The renters. I stopped him. I said, did you just say what I think you said? He invented a category. People invent a Jew, like them. Emil Pallier said, if there's no Jew, you make up a Jew. See, you need, it's geschmack, it's just us, buddy. The renter here, like a category. But the two sides of Blue Ridge, it's just us. There's no them. It's a nonsense. Atas hayetzer mamish. Klal Yisrael is only us. I love wherever we go. To Svardim, I say, Svardim, you're a Svardim. You're a Svardim. Yeah, I come from Avrahom. We're all Svardim. I don't know. It's all us. Us Satmar, us Lubavitch, us. It's just us. Somebody put a guy came, my mother couldn't get the tefillin of my father, and it was a Satmar Yid, put the tefillin of my father. He was around, so my mother called him in, he put the tefillin on. My mother said, your mom is Shalabavich Chesed, you put the tefillin on. It's all us. We put tefillin on people, we have food kitchens, us. It's all us, there is no them, there's no such thing, it's nonsense. Silliness, utter silliness. Befrat bismanenu, when there's an attack on Am Yisrael, it's pashut that the organic response is the unity. As Klal Yisrael comes together, we're all the same children that Avraham Avinu said, "Matitin li v'anoicha hilech hariri." Avraham Avinu davened for his children, for Klal Yisrael. We're all Magen Avram. Is each of us is Bechlal the Magen Avram. They're knocking down like silly walls, silly distinctions that we put up. That's man-made things. There's a God invention, Am Nivra, Yahalul Ka. It's a God invention called a Yid, an Am Nivra. We'll learn Avraham Avinu, we're learning these Parshas about Am Yisrael. We'll all say Avinu about Am Yisrael. It's a silliness. It's all us. There's different anhagas. Every mishpacha has different children, different mishpacha, but all us. I don't say it lightly. I don't say not aware that there could be nisyanis. Brothers get into difficult situations, but mamish that it's us. So a tzaddik was nifter and Am Yisrael that's causing a tremendous sar. But I want to point out that it's a yid that brought together worlds, mamish. Brought together and is a representation of this kibbutz galius, that all the worlds. It's only us. Only us. A Rosh Yeshiva, a Litvish, Hasidish Yeshiva, from Sfard, it's all, it's not even, it's not a Chiddush, it's nothing to it. It's just kibbutz galius, it's us, it's one ummah. I wanted to study two specific Gemaras tonight, to learn together two Gemaras. The Gemara in Saita on Yoram Beis, that says the famous, even to call it the technique of Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu is Mekar of the world. And it says, La'acha she'achlu v'shasu. Avraham Avinu would give to eat and drink. Amdu levarcha, and they'd come to thank Avraham Avinu. The people, the recipients of Avraham Avinu's kindness, would come, and they'd come to levarcha. They'd say, we can't believe the way you treated us. Nifla. Amar lemechi mishaliach haltem. You think it's mine? Mishalokei oilam achaltem. It's from their Rebbeinu Shalom. Haidu v'shibchu baruchu mishamar va'olam. And he thanks Hashem. We have to study this Gemara. The technique of Avraham Avinu. Here Avraham Avinu says, he gives them to eat and drink. They want to thank Avram. He points up and they become from. First, a very risky kiruv proposition. He waited mamish to his benching time. The guy's on the verge. The guy walks out of Avram. Forever he's going to be a kaifer. The guy comes to Avraham Avinu. This is the chance. And they eat. They have a geshmak suda. There's no kiruv during the suda. After the whole story, the guy's ready to bench and ready to leave. The mamish, they're ready to leave. Amdu levarcha, they stand up. It's pashut in the nick of time. If a guy forgets to thank Avram, so the whole kiruv operation ends. If he's not maketad, you can't be mekar such a guy. Maybe amdu levarcha, they come and they thank Avram. He points up and he says, "It's Hashem." So I want to suggest something about the Chesed of Avraham Avinu that perhaps is the secret to this. Amdei levarach, and he points up and they thank Hashem. So I wanna suggest how does that work? That Avraham feeds them. Now it is true. I want to say that already it's a Pirkei Rabbi Lazar. It says whoever is makir toiv to people is soifer to be makir toiv to Hashem. Whoever is koifer b'toivasa shaladim is koifer to Hashem. So very simply, the makir toiv to Hashem. That's a passageway to the makir toiv to Avraham Avinu. Thank you for the meal. It's a passageway to akorsa toiv to Hashem. But I think Chazal, the reason, so maybe Stam, that's enough, but that's like something in a midah, Yekaina, eventually. Person has gratitude, eventually will come to be market. But so easily they say, thank you to Avram, and he points up, and the person's already recognizes Hashem. I want to say that Avram Avinu, when he does Chesed, when he's machnes sarich, in next week's Parsha, Avraham Avinu says Adonai to these passerbys. He calls them my master. He's nishtaimim from them. And Avraham Avinu is the Av of Chesed, but a very specific brand of Chesed. There's a type of Chesed. There's a Chesed where you pity people. Yana nebuch. Be nice to the nebuch. That's a brand of kindness. It says that Hashem is goimel chasadim tovim. Automatically, it says chasadim tovim. You see, there's a bad type of chesed. The pasuk openly says chesed lu'umim chatos. That often the kindness of nations is a sin. Chatos, there's something sinful. But how could chesed ever be sinful? But there's a whole brand of chesed of being nice to nebuchs. It's a whole brand of kindness. Nebuch, the haves and the have-nots, you got to take. It's a liberal brand of kindness. Of the have-nots, listen, the haves, if the haves don't take care of the have-nots, not a good tezach. Nebuch, be nice to Yen and Nebuch. Such a kindness hurts the recipient of the kindness. Mamish hurts the recipient. If you ever play sports, so if you purposely let a regular person, you let him hit a home run on purpose. You push him back, you mevayish him. My father we play tennis. So we have good games. He's not young, and I clearly maybe don't play my hardest. But if my father sees me not play as hard, he'd rather lose and feel respected that I played than I don't play hard. You don't feel respected. Pashut, that's not chesed. Yena nebi, nice. He's good. He's geshmak. I'm good at this, try. And chesed, treating somebody like a nebuch, is the chesed itself hurts the person. It's dangerous. The chesed itself is very harmful to a person. It's even possible Sodom was against chesed. What's the shit? It's not a late son of Sodom. It can't be a late son. The Torah doesn't need to teach us about it. But Avram, the people that Avram, that were misnagi, that were against chesed, it could be it was rooted that they felt chesed hurts people. It's a world, you do chesed, you treat people nebuch. Let people have a matzav of din. Work and you get. You treat people like a nebuch. And Avram Avinu's brand of chesed was different. Avram Avinu saw a person and was nishtaimim. He said, psukim in the Torah, he looked at three people. He said, my masters, he saw godless in them. He was nishtaimim from them. The Chayvus Salvavis describes a chassid echad who said that he was a manig. He says a lashon is a manig, that he was zeichet to be an adon. It means a mashpia. The language in Chayvus Salvavis is hard. It's a translation of a translation. It's l'chayr, what he's saying is a person said he had a tremendous impact on his generation. And he says, what was my kayach? This chassid said, I never met somebody I wasn't nishtaimim by, I wasn't amazed by. You don't impact somebody you're not amazed by. You're not impressed with and amazed by. The kayach of Avraham Avinu, the chesed of Avraham Avinu was a chesed that came from a place that it's a schus. It's a schus to serve another person. He was nishtaimim from a person. Al nasav mi al v'decha. Open psukim in the Torah, a sense of it's an honor to serve you. I'm like amazed by you. It would be such a kavod for me to do something for you. I'm honored to serve you. I'm pashut honored to serve you. Somebody today was mamish saying, they could do a chesed, but they don't want to do it. I said, such a chesed is going to hurt the person. Please don't do the chesed. You're going to hurt the person to do the chesed to. Avas Chesed. The Chavetz Chaim writes essays of Avas Chesed. The secret of Chesed is there's a chiyus to it. Azah kavod to serve. Nobody drives an Adam Gadol and feels like bad to do it. It's a schus. It's a schus. Azah is schus to drive an Adam, to do something for a Yid. And again, we're human and we're always there. That's the place of the Chesed of Avraham is the Chesed of being the shtoimim from a person. And as such, as Azah schus al nas, please, at my master, I look up to you. I Parshas. Be such an honor for me. Is it possible, do you think? Be a schus for me. That's the Chesed of Avraham Avinu. If that's the Chesed of Avraham, at the end of the Suda, the guy wanted to thank Avraham. He was mochshar already. He was already, from receiving the Chesed of Avraham, you were already karov to accepting Hashem. You had learned about your own greatness. You had learned about your own godliness. When Avraham saw the people receiving, when he served as a Suda to somebody, and you experienced your own, he saw things in you that he was amazed by, so the person, then he said, serve Hashem. The person was like ready, prepared. The meal itself, the Chesed of Avraham, perhaps, prepared the person that when the person was Amad Levarchai, he says, Mishal Kelo Machaltem, I fed you from Hashem. And the person instantly became an Eved Hashem. The person, I want to say another nekud about this, but Avram's very chesed, perhaps. I don't have a raya in Chazal, and the Chazal speak the gratitude, and Avram said, you're thanking me, it's from Hashem. But perhaps the very Suda that Avraham Avinu fed them, in seeing in the person, seeing in the person the greatness of the person, already taught the person, I'm close to Hashem, I'm shaykh to Hashem. So when the person thanked and he pointed up, the person already learned how big they are and they're shaykh to Hashem, the person became an Eved Hashem. That the very meal that he was achlu v'shasai already brought them close. But I want to say another zach about Avraham Avinu, about a loyalist to Hashem, Avraham Avinu. I like studying organizations. I'm involved in running a yeshiva. I want it to be a healthy organization. It's very important to me people work together. I never want a matziv, people, there's infighting, people aren't working together. If you ever have a matziv, a guy says, I love my Rebbe, but I don't like the yeshiva. So you know the Rebbe doesn't like the yeshiva. You love your Rebbe, das heißt you like the yeshiva. The Rebbe's part of the yeshiva. You know, you have a guy in a camp, and like the counselor's against the whole camp. He doesn't like it. He's pashut running rogue. It's because I love my counselor. I hated camp. Camp is just the counselor. What you know is the counselor is against camp. To love Avram is to love Hashem. He's a loyalist to Hashem. He's on Hashem's team. To love Avram is Avram Ahuvi. Avram's a loyalist. Whatever happens from Hashem. To love Avram brought a person close to Hashem. It was very nicker and clear that Avram Avinu things he has is from Hashem. And any maila, any ava that a person received Avram, it was very nicker. You know where this has come? I'm just echoing Hashem. To love Avram was to love Hashem. That was, Avram said, pointed up, and you loved Hashem. To love Avram is to love Hashem. That's what was kemat automatic by a loyalist to Hashem. Somebody who was nicker and clear, Shem Shemaim, Shagar B'Fevus. It's about Hashem. You're thanking me? It's all from Hashem. It was nicker in Avram, that to love Avram. I was bothered when I was younger. I was bothered by Kash. I've seen in Svarim after, it's a pella that we say, Lekei Avram, Lekei Yitzchak, Lekei Yaakov. Pella. The God of Avram. You call Hashem the God of Hashem's Hashem. You call it's a pella. It's like words. Ilmole that Chazal, Anshe Knesset Agdola, that the Torah allows us to say such words. You call Hashem the God of Avram. It's the Rebbeinu Shalom. We say Lekei Avram because Avram Avinu in his Chesed and what he gave, it was people would shake their head. If you ever hear about a gadol, you hear about a gadol you never met. I used to hear when I was younger, a certain Rosh Hashiva, I never met him. I met a Talmud of his, so it's an echo, like, I hear. Avraham Avinu's chesed and Avraham Avinu's kindness and ayin tov and seeing the godless of people was an echo, a window. People understood Hashem. It's like it's mahu afata. It was an echo. We say Lekei Avram because Avraham Avinu brought to the world by Avraham Avinu behaving in such a way, seeing the greatness in people, and bringing out from his neshama his own ava and kindness and appreciation of people. So it gave a window. Hashem. So Avraham Avinu, they thanked Avram, and then right afterwards, that became a passageway into serving Hashem. That's the first thing I wanted to study. I wanted to say about us that want to tap into the chesed of Avraham Avinu, that's Yidden. Avram started our people, and Yidden are going lechasadim. We have a very specific brand of chesed. And the avoid is to be goimel chesed from a place that we're nishtoimin from somebody, and it's a schus. Mamish a schus to serve another person. It's a schus. My son lost his wallet in Eretz Yisrael. And we were like, Kamfed, you lose your wallet in any country in the world, you're done. Money, cash in there, cards in there. A guy in Eretz Yisrael, an 18-year-old bacher, got a bus. My son is here. He doesn't learn. The guy tracked down his entire schaim like a nace. Tracked down where he was staying and returned him the money, of course, with every dollar in it. My son wanted to pay him. The guy said, I want to help a Yid. We're Yidden. I want to help a Yid. He wanted help. He didn't want money. He didn't want... It's a schus. I want to help another Yid. I want to help another Yid. That's the chesed of Avraham Avinu, is that a Yid is precious, and it's an honor for me. It's such an honor. It's a kavod. It's pasha a kavod. That is the specific brand. It's chasadim tovim. It's good chesed. It's chesed that builds. The chesed itself doesn't put down anybody. Recipients of the kindness of a nebuch. We've all had times in our life somebody was nice, begetter a nebuch. Like, okay. Let me be nice to the nebuch. That chesed itself does damage. Many a person receives such chesed and was damaged by such chesed. There are whole communities in this country, it could be, that are damaged by a kindness that supports the nebuch. Could be in America, could be there's such zachen. That's like a liberal mentality. The best, if it's, I'm not saying every liberal's, maybe we're all liberals. The best liberal, the Avraham Avinu liberal, if you will, is that respecting the shtoimim from people. And the chesed to people comes from a place, I'm the shtoimim from somebody. So I wanted to give over that brand of chesed that we aspire to, and Hashem should be mezakas. We should be nishtoimim from Yidden, and as such capable of the Chesed Avram, that when we see a Yid, it's tachas chos. What can I do to help? How can I help? Because we're nishtoimim. I wanted to end with one Gemara in Bab Metzia. It's already late, so we won't go so into it, but I just want to read this Gemara. I thought it's an amazing Gemara. People like segulas. People like a segula. Now, they're all different schools. The ones that are open in Chazal, my wife and I every might say Shabbos have a hot drink together. Us Chassidim, I used to love in the mirror going downstairs. I might say Shabbos, and it was all the Chassidim had the hot drinks, and I joined the Chassidim with the hot drinks. It's a Gemara. It's a Gemara that it's malugma. It's a cure. It heals everything. It's a cure. You want a cure to all a hot drink? Might say Shabbos is a malugma. So when Chazal brings something that's now there's pshatim and ideas and certainly deep ideas to this Gemara, and we could study that too. But I want to first just read the Gemara. The Gemara has an eitzah from Hanasa. The Gemara says in Bab Metzia and Tesam and Aleph, Vam Reb Chelboi lo olam yei adam zahir b'chvayid eshtay. Person should always be careful in the honor of his wife. Shein bracha mitzui b'sech beis eshladim b'shvil eshtay. Bracha comes to the house on behalf of the wife. Shenemar, it brings a pasuk in our Parshas, Avrahom hated bavura. Now, Pashup Shad, it means that Parai was good to Avraham because of Sarah. Avram hated, but the Marshaz Medayik says the diak of the Gemara is that the Torah left out that it should say Parai. Avram hated Parai bavura. Parai was good to Avram bavura on Sarah's behalf because of Sarah, but it left out the word Parai. Darshans the Gemara, Hashem was good to Avram because of Sarah. Lavram hate, you know why Avram got Parnasa? Bavura, because of Sarah Imenu. V'hainu da'amar lu Rava l'bnei Mechuzah. Rava said to the Bnei Mechuzah, Aikirul and Ishaychu, respect your wives, ki hechid tasru, in order to become wealthy. It's a school up to become rich. A person's good to their wife, it's the Gemara. Person's mechabed, the wife is a school for Parnasa. Parnasa comes b'shvil ishtay, and somebody's mechabed. Rava said to the Bnei Mechuzah, Aikirul and Ishaychu, respect your wives, ki hechid tasru, a person becomes wealthy. I saw in a Chesidish, it's a longer pshat, but he said in the Pasuk in Tillim, Al tira ki yashir ish, ki yir bekvayd beisay, double lashon. Ki yashir ish, ki yir bekvayd beisay. I saw in a sefer that it means ki yashir ish. You know why he became rich? Ki yir bekvayd beisay, because he was mechabed his wife. He became rich gufa because he was mechabed his wife. Al tira ki yashir ish. Why did the guy become an ashestam? Because he was mechabed his wife. Yer bekvayd beisa. He was mar bekaved to his bias, to his mishpacha. The Gemara says, "Akirul in a shaychu kechet tasru." Person's mechabed his wife brings a tremendous ashiras to the house. That a person's noyeg more covered is a school in the Gemara. The Gemara says that's an eitzah. Person wants an eitzah for ashiras. To have parnasa berevach, his mechabed, his wife. So person zeichet to tremendous tashiras, such a person that's is zeichet tashiras. So we certainly have to study what the pshat is, and there's ideas that the hour is late. But the Gemara, the pashtus of the Gemara, the truth of the Gemara is certain that a person is mechabed, his mishpachas, his chos for ashiras. That's open in the Gemara. We were learning in Brachas this week, so we were speaking about three lashonos of tefillah. The three lashonos, Avrahom Avinu's Amida, is one lashon of tefillah. Now that lashon of Amida by tefillah is a very, very important lashon of tefillah, to the fact we call Shemona Esrei the Amida. What's this lashon of Amida that ain't Amida el tefillah? Amida is a lashon of tefillah. What is this lashon of Amida that's tefillah? One of the nisyonis of davening, especially minyana, but all davenings, people are busy. People are doing a lot. People are busy. They're busy. We all have busy lives, raising a mishpacha, working, learning. We have a lot on our plate. It's not stam that a person finds the time to daven. The very midah of tefillah, we operate and do. We're all busy and creating and doing. The very space of prayer, stop. You're in Hashem's world. The very space of prayer is to acknowledge Hashem runs this world. Certainly man has power and man is important and the activities of man are important. But it's important to acknowledge we live in Hashem's world. We could always do and be busy and feel pressures and create. We're so stuck in our world. Stop. Concede. We're in Hashem's world. Amida is a huge part of prayer. Amida is prayer. And Avraham Avinu discovers Hashem. And Avraham Avinu specifically, it says a lush of Avraham Avinu of being oimed. Being oimed is stopping to move. Stop running. Stop going. Stop. People, we all come to shul. We have so much on our minds. We're so worried. It's not like a zaytik, a part of prayer. Okay, let's clear our minds. Let's try to focus. All those things on our mind and all the pressures and our worries and all the things we're busy with, we do things for refuah. So we run here, and that's a shtadlus. The Rebbeinu shows mitzvah shtadlus. But the ikar of tefillah, stay back. Let go a little bit. You're in Hashem's world. Let go. Be oimed. Stop running. Stop going. Stop. that's like, so it's not a side thing to prayer and being busy and feeling overwhelmed and how do I fit this in? That's goof. A big part of prayer is the Amidah, is the very stopping, pausing, letting go and enter Hashem's Welt. I never knew much about meditation. A friend of mine started teaching me the last couple of years about meditation. And it's very, very important to me. And I've learned to let go. We always want to create and do. There's a tremendous art of being, of letting go a little bit. Somebody said it's not called a human doing. Somebody quoted in Adam Chacham that it's not a human doing, it's a human being. But there's a tremendous art. I could tell you even the day of this man of Yeshiva, Rabbi Branson and I had worked for days and we were in this like state of working hard. And I wanted to like start this man in a good state. And I mamish chap, stop Daniel, stop creating even ashtadlus of good things. But also stay back, get into like, Shabbos is a big bechin of this type of Amidah. Stop. Recognize Hashem's Welt. You're in the Rebbeinu Shalom's world. We're in good hands. We're in the Rebbeinu Shalom's world. Mamish, we're in Hashem's world. This Nikud of Amidah. I've watched my Tata in going through a difficult thing. There's a tranquility I see in the room, in his hospital room, a tranquility of somebody, we're in good hands. And he said it to me. In difficult matzav, mamish, we're in good hands. We're in good hands, Hashem's hands. Very good hands. But mamish, amidst pain, amidst fear, I'm in good hands. Mamish, we're in good hands. That's like the shayrish of all prayer. A big shayrish of prayer. I think sometimes we even view and pray, it's important that we ask Hashem for things. And that's important. But a big part of prayer, and even in the asking, of course, we have to remember a big part of prayer is expressing Hashem's the Raifei. Hashem, it's not just the asking for it, though, what we're allowed to ask. But a big part of our Shemoneh Esrei is not asking. A big part of the Shemoneh Esrei is praising that Hashem's the Chaynei Nadas, Hashem's the Raifei, Hashem is the Mevarech Hashanim. And a big idea in all Amida's prayer, it says the Gemara has a Lashon, Ein Amida L'Tfilah. Whenever a person's Aymed, there's a Bechin of Tfilah. Whenever a person has that koyach to step back and acknowledge, I'm in Hashem's Welt, certain acceptance, a certain tranquility, a certain calmness. I told the Chevra that I was Zoichet to meet with Reb Shaul Alter. This beautiful tzaddik. Talk about, he's a Yid I'm like drawn to. I love that he's a gadol in all worlds. Everybody's all different worlds. He's a special person. So I went into Reb Shaul Alter, and he said to me, "You can ask me any question." So I said, "I'll be honest. I'm listening to Rebbe. I'm reading Rebbe's Torah. You have a calmness. Rebbe has a calmness. He has a menuchas nefesh, a calmness that's crazy." So I asked him the source of his calmness. Where does it come from? So he said three things. He said, first of all, don't judge superficially. You don't know what I'm feeling inside. That was a good lesson. He spoke about that a little bit. Good lesson to learn. Very important. Second of all, he said, you should know that it's by nature. I am a very calm guy. I was born that way. He spoke a little about that. Hashem gives gifts to people. He said, naturally, he's very calm. He said, third of all, I worked very hard on it. It's interesting. And he said something, but it was so pure. He said, we teach our little kids, you cross the street, everybody has to be careful in Blue Ridge. I get so nervous. You see kids, the kids cannot run in the street. There are not as many cars, but cars come even on Shabbos cars. The little kids cannot run in the street of Blue Ridge. It's dangerous. Yet you should give a knas, so little kids running around, there has to be a system. What? Now it's not even legal, right? But you have to be careful. It's dangerous. That cars fly by. They come too fast. We'll yell at the cars for going too fast, but kids can't run in the street. So he said, we teach our little kids not to run in the street. Like you start with the kids not to run in the street. And and he said, you have to teach them look both ways. They're little kids from little ages, and your whole life you look both ways. You give a cook both ways. He said, one time you're holding your tata's hands, you don't have to look. Tati's hands. He's looking, you're fine. He said, I've worked my whole life. I'm holding Tati's hands. I'm in good hands. I'm holding the Tata's hands. He said, look, your kid is safe. Normally you're looking, you're making sure, looking both ways. You're holding Tati's hands, all those rules are off. You could just go, the kid's looking both ways, holding Tati's hands, you have problems. He trusts Tata. He doesn't have to check, make sure. Tata's walking, things are good, Gishmak. He doesn't check anything. The Tata's walking. He said, my whole life I've been working, I'm holding Tati's hands. I feel very calm, we're in good hands. We're in very, very good hands. People give these fear-mongering. If this one wins the election, then we'll all move. I don't care who wins the election. We're holding Tati's hands. That's only for someone not holding Tati's hands. That's dangerous. This is. Stop. Knock it off. No fear-mongering. Well, we're in good hands. I promise whoever wins the elections. We're in their Bashim's hands. We're in very, very good hands. I have enough presidents around who say, if this one was, how many times have we heard, this will happen. That good, we do a shtatmus for sure about that. And if we see somebody's better, it's better for different beseder. I'm not saying not to vote, but that we're in good hands is not, we're in very good hands. And he described when you're holding the Tata's hands, you don't have to look both ways. It was very, very moving. That's a bechin of Hamidah. Of that sense, we're in good hands. If we could sing Tefillah La'ani Yetz, it says, man, we need Tefillah. Let's sing Tefillah La'ani Ki Yatev. Let's. Hey Tefillah La'ani Ki Yatev V'lefnei Hashem Yishbar Sichai Tefillah Liyani Kiyatov V'lefnei Hashem Yishbach Sichai Tefillah Liyani Kiyatov V'lefnei Hashem Yishbach Sichai Eshkarech, Rabbi, Eshkarech.